On that April, with his sure sota, the drocht of March had passed to the road, and bauded every vine in switch liqueur, of which virtue unjoundred is the floor. On Zephyr sacred sweat of breath, in spirit had in every haunt and hearth, the tender crop is, and the youngest son, and in the ram is halva coursey runner, and smaller fowls, and melody, are sleeping on the neck with open knee. So pricked him the tour in her courages, than London folk to go on pilgrimages. So beginneth the book of the Tales of Canterbury, and so too begins my poem. So pricked him the tour in her courages, which means that when spring comes, nature's going to make you do what you got to do, whether you're a girl or flower, bird or boy or tree. For me, poor little dyslexic me, it was reading. So this is called So pricked him the tour in her courages. Never did help my dad enough. Always head stuck in a book. Donald, son, he called. Can you hold this while I saw? Oh, Dad, I wail, me lost in Chaucer and his tale. And so the saw sows, but all I hear is, yo, the middle was a chap of 16 stone, a great stout fellow, big and brawn and bone. The saw cuts through the afternoon, pauses then, Chaucer's on again. He did well out of it, for he could go and win the ram at any wrestling show. Say what? Don't get me wrong. I adored the aesthetic beauty of sawdust floating in a universe of its own, suspended in sunlight and shadow, the smell of pine kidnapping my mind. Didn't have time for all that hammering and sawing. I was a boy on a mission ever since our teacher saying, oh, I don't know why I teach you scruff Chaucer, you never read the book. But by the weekend, furious at the rebuff, I had. On that April, the words falling like gentle rain upon my mind, with his surest sota, the drop of March, words, words, oh sweet words, had passed to the rota, my mind, bowed at every vine in switch liqueur, the bubble in the spirit level, poised perfectly, perfectly poised, of which virtue unjoundred is the floor. Thank you. Called Jerry Sweeney's Mammy. When I was a young fella, I had no idea about sex. Jana's filling me in. She said I'm getting quite good at it and everything like that. And where babies come from. So my definition of a mammy was not biological, it was emotional. Somebody loved you to that great nth degree. I thought that's what a mammy was. And I had my own lovely mammy, Eva Dempsey, and I had my Auntie Mary down in Cork, and I had Mrs. Sweeney up the road. And by that definition, my dad was the best mammy I ever had. So this is called Jerry Sweeney's Mammy. My mammy had to take me aside and say, you know Mrs. Sweeney, yeah? She's not your mammy, you know that? And I go, what? So, Jerry Sweeney's Mammy. Mrs. Sweeney was Jerry Sweeney's mammy. And even though I had my own, I had her alone. It was like having a spare mammy. And even when she was mad with you, she just couldn't be mad with you. Go on, she grinned, go on. We're the heart out of a stone. And if you fell and you was crying, heart and knee badly grazed, or badly bitten by a bee, she would hug you up with all of herself. Fill you up with so much love, it would last for years. For years. Jerry Sweeney was my best friend ever. Way back in the way back then. Still is, nothing's changed. Except as young fellas have become old fellas who still think they're young fellas. And every time I see him, I could almost cry. I can still see his mammy smiling out of his eyes. Thank you. The book originally started because I was hitting my 60th birthday, and I thought I'd write about all the different Donalds at 7, 23, 60, 63 and all that. But death got in the way, and the whole nature of the book changed. This is called Now We Is 60. I used to be a teacher, and an agency teacher, and you go into a class, and there'd be nothing put out for you. So you had 2 hours to fill, and you had to make it up on the spot. So usually you'd say to the kids, okay, what did you do last week? And they'd all stay quiet, just like you're staying now. And then one little nerd at the back would say, please sir, we did the spinach armada. I said, the spinach armada, right. What did you do the week before that? Quietness again, little nerd at the back. Please sir, and of cleavage. I thought, right, I'm not even going to go there. So the next day I brought in spinach and Seville oranges, and we bombarded the spinach man with Seville oranges. So this is called Now He Is 60. And then I went into year 8. And year 8 kept talking in pirate accents all the time. And we were miles away from National Pirate Day. So I was on the board and I was saying, so as you can see, the square on the hypotenuse is equal to, what? Yes. Oh, sir, would that be Pythagoras' theorem? And I said, oh, yes, as you can see, the sails on the good ship Pythagoras is equal to some of the sails on the other two sides. And after that, it left me alone. So this is called Now He Is 60. A year 8 child inquires how old I be. I be just 60. He gasps, my God, you're very active for 60. 60 for him is a distant planet in a galaxy far, far away. Yea, a different dimension. I smile, my 60-year-old smile, perfected by now. I am starlight that will only reach him when he is himself 60, if he ever remembers what he has long ago forgotten. Thank you. But my love is like a fever, longing still, which is Shakespeare's 147 sonnet. My love is like a fever, longing still. All that long has summer true, I shared summer cold with you, that seemed to last forever. Whether sharing the same germs, dreams, bacteria, or whatever, it seemed to bring us so close together. And all my heart could say, even to this day, is bless you, bless you, bless you. It's called Passing Strange. When Othello is trying to chat up Desi baby, he's telling her all these stories and she's going, wow, 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 how cool is that? So he tells her strange, surpassing strange is surpassing strange. So this is called Passing Strange. Rose arose, and having risen was angry. You never call me by my name, only love and darling. A rose by any other name, I quoted, would smell as sweet. That's neat, she sweetly smiled. That's Shakespeare, I whispered in her ear and kissed her, sweet, sweet smile. Oh, quote me that kiss again, she sighed. How I do love thee, I cried. Let me count the kisses, she replied. My lovely, darling Rose. Thank you. This is the last book. This is the book to be clicked together. It's called Crawling Up and Falling Out. Her first puddle. There's rain lying dead in a hole. She's only ever seen rain fall, not trapped in a pothole. Why doesn't it crawl out and fall up? Indeed, I see it happen in thought, if not in deed. I have to admit, I've never thought of it like that. Now she's grown up and doesn't even remember it. We meet a modern day puddle and she's puzzled when I say, why doesn't it crawl out and fall up? Oh, da, she sighs, how do you ever think of such things? This is called A Romantic Owl Egypt, which is what will be written on my tombstone, I guess. It was the last thing my mother actually said to me before she died. And it goes like this. Nat King Cole sings Autumn Leaves on the radio in Japanese. My mother falls in love with it. I failed to find it for her, this being pre-internet days. So I sing it for her, making up the Japanese. I sing different words every day. Sing, she says, my bony knee, which is what we call it after hearing it only the once. Share it with Yuko. I sing whatever comes to mind, no more each day. The words have a life of their own. Now when I have grown to be this man I am, I learned the proper Japanese, but she still thinks I'm making it up. Hearing or dying, she says, sing me my bony knee. So I sing it in my broken Japanese. She squeezes my hand, whispers softly, you were always a romantic owl Egypt. Thank you. And finally, this is the new book. This is called I Thought Being a Dalek Was a Job for Life. He was a Dalek falling on hard times. got a job on the London Underground. Announcing stations, announcing stations, announcing stations. His wife also had seen better days. Got a job as a talking clock. Mr. and Mrs. Dalek. Far from world domination, extermination of others. The next station will be Waterloo. At the final stroke, it will be 12 noon exactly.
I see why he went Welsh.
I don't know what happened. No.
So you see what I mean? Follow that.
Yeah.
That was quite a finale, that.
Well, we're the Daleks.
Thank you all for coming to the Musical Spoon.